Okay, how are you doing? Here we go with Chapter 2, Section 4 on partial quotient. Partial quotients are quotients that partially answer a division problem. A quotient is the answer to a division problem. For instance, 5 into 20 is 4. The 4 is the quotient. Oh, I misspelled it. I forgot the O. We can erase that and fix it. I was busy thinking about the other numbers, this other number and this other number. Now if this one is the divisor, because it does the dividing, what does that make this one? This one is kind of hard to remember. This is the dividend. I think we can probably make that look a little nicer too. Okay, so partial quotients is a concept where instead of actually doing long division, we're going to use multiplication to get close. For instance, if we want to go 23 into 174, let's do that a little differently. I think we'll be happier if we do something like 13 into 174. I'm trying to show you a simpler problem. Okay, so we come over here to the side and we think to ourselves, well, let's multiply by something that's easy. 13 times 10. And 13 times 10 is equal to 130. If I did another 13 times 10, that would equal 260, and that's too big for 174. We're wanting to find out how many times 13 goes into 174. And we like to multiply better than we like to divide, and we're trying to figure out place value and how this all works together. So we think, well, we'll just go 13 times 10. That's 130. I guess the next thing would be to wonder what 13 times 5 is. Could we do 13 times 5 in our head? Well, 5 is half as big as 10, so 13 times 5 would have to be half as big as 130. If it were 120, half of 120 is 60, so it would have to be 65. If I added these two together, I get 130 plus 65 is equal to 195, and it looks like we're already over 174. If we were under, we'd still be in good shape. 13 times 10, 13 times 5, together these are like 13 times 15, because there's 10 and 5, and they're all added up. We added these, 130 plus 65 to get 195. Alright, so you kind of see how that works, but 5 isn't going to work, so we're going to just add, some 13s and see what we get. Now remember, we want to try this again, but we don't want to get rid of everything. So I'm going to try to just move this, get it out of the way, and move this and get it out of the way. And I guess, yeah, I really have to move that too. So we're just going to ignore all that stuff up there. This is just kind of the garbage bin over here. That's kind of the garbage bin. But what would happen then if we just did 13 times 2? 13 times 2. 13 times 2 is something we can do quickly in our head. 13 times 10. And what happens if I add those together? Well, 6, 3 plus 2 is 5, and another 1. And that's 156. Now we've got 174. What if I did 13 times 1, which is just 13 more, and I add that together? 6 plus 3 is 9, 6, and 1. 169. Now, do I have room to put another 13 in? I don't. I don't have room to put another 13. 169 plus 10 is 179, and that's bigger than this. What you're supposed to notice here is that 10 plus 2 plus 1 is 13. So what we really understand is that we understand that 13 times 13 is 169. So in long division, 13 goes into 174 13 times. Now we do have a remainder. There's a little bit left, whatever it is between 169 and 174. It happens to be 5. So we can do long division by using multiplication, and I think that that's something that they want you to understand, and I think it's a pretty cool concept. Let's do a big one and just see what we get, and then we'll call this lesson finished. Let's do something like 412. New. Yeah, 412 divided by 18. That looks like 18 goes into 412 some number of times. So we're going to use the divisor over here. We're going to use the 18, and we're going to start making things happen. Again, it's nice to use 10. 18 times 10 is 180. If I do another 18 times 10, I get another 180, and I want to go ahead and add those together. 0 plus 0, 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry the 1 and then add it in, we get 360. Now we're going up to 412, and I'm pretty sure we can't fit another 180 in. So we'll just try the 18 times 5. We already did that once. Can we do 180 in half? Well, 18 in half is 9. So 10 in half is 5. So 18 times 5 is half as big as 18 times 10. Okay? I keep forgetting to add my addition sign here, but I want you to remember that that's what we're doing. 180 plus 180 is 360. 18 times 5 is half of 180, so that's 90. And 360 plus 90, it actually ends up being 450, and we went over our 412. So we did it again. We're going to have to, we're not going to be able to use the 18 times 5. Get rid of these, put the garbage up there. We're going to have to use something else, and I think it makes sense just if we can't use 10, we can't use 5. We use either 1 or 2. And 18 times 1, if we want to do it this way, adding again, is 378. If I do another 18 times 1, we have another 18. 8 plus 8 is 16. We have 9 there. 396. I might be able to get another 18 in there. It might come out exactly right. Times 1. Nope, it's going to be too big. We're not going to be able to use it. That's 4. 9, 10, 11. 414, and we can only go up to 412. We've gone over. So again, we're going to have to get rid of this last one, this last group that we put in there. 396 is our best guess. And it's really okay to stop here. 10 plus 10 is 20. Plus 1 plus 1 is 22. So 18 times 22 is 396. So 18 times 22 is 396. So 18 goes into 412 22 times. And we could figure out the remainder if we want to do it the old-fashioned way, 412 minus 396. So we're going to have to do some borrowing. So 12 take away 6 is 6. 10 take away 9 is, so 16 is the remainder. Now remainder of 16 sounds like a lot. 16 is a big number, but it is smaller than our divisor. If it were 18, if it were exactly 18, then we would have been able to multiply one more time, which would have given us 23. If it were bigger than 18, then we'd be able to multiply one more time and have another remainder. So 18 goes into 422 a little more than 22 times. Did I say 422? 18 goes into 412 a little more than 22 times. 22 with a remainder of 16. So if we're doing story problems, sometimes we can use that to figure out. If we're not having to find an exact answer, we can find out a partial answer using this multiplication method. Now it takes up some space, but that's okay. You just keep using your paper and using your brain, using your noodle, and figuring out how this division and multiplication are related to each other. This is long division, sort of. We're using partial quotients. So we're using this is a partial quotient, and we're adding it to this partial quotient, and we add these two other ones, and we end up with a total 10, 20, 21, 22. Okay, I think you guys are starting to see the pattern. If not, go back and watch this video again. We did it twice. Similar to what's in your book. Just go for it. Have some fun.